Hi everyone, it's your girl Audrey Havey on the Audrey Havey YouTube channel. Don't really have much of an intro for this one. I actually just kind of thought about this not really even 5 minutes ago, but it kind of dawned on me how much I feel like I've talked about this to other people in the industry and just friends and colleagues about starting a YouTube channel. I am not one to say that I am necessarily like YouTube successful or, I don't have a crazy following or anything like that. It has been super rewarding in a lot of different ways, and I think as an artist, designer, freelancer, all these kind of things that I dive into every single day in my day-to-day life as a professional and just doing this kind of stuff for fun, it can be a super rewarding thing to just kind of have that on YouTube. So I'm gonna kind of rant a little bit. I don't really have like a structure for this or anything. This is just kind of off the top of my dome and the amount of times that feel like I've talked about this to other people. Bottom line is I will always encourage anyone to do YouTube because I personally think it's just super fun. Depending on like what your goals are with YouTube, there's a lot of different things you can kind of get out of it. And just speaking as a freelancer, I feel like it has done a lot for my career just in terms of visibility and kind of getting my name out there. I'm kind of showing up every day or every week sometimes just kind of showing like what I can do and just stuff I like to do for fun, the things I care about, showing my process, more than anything. So sit back, enjoy the rant, and yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Trying out a new microphone I got, be a little more casual. I feel like I'm about to do a stand-up bit, but I'm not funny, so this isn't gonna track right. So yeah, YouTube. Started doing YouTube, I think it was like March of 2022, I believe, because I started freelancing in 2021. The way that it kind of happened was kind of funny because I've never ever been the kind of person to be wanting to be in front of the camera, like this right now, like with the microphone and everything, would have never crossed my mind before 2021. And it was actually my husband, Justin, that kind of just planted that seed for, over time of like, I think at the time I was doing a ton of like blog posts and stuff. Not a ton. I barely did that, but it was kind of a way for me to like write a little bit and just kind of like talk about the process of like making a certain project, or I don't know, just random things, freelancing life, art school days, all that kind of stuff. And he kind of mentioned like, these would make great videos, and just kind of like verbalizing everything that is like being written down and all the images and stuff that I'm kind of attaching to all that. And I was like, yeah, that is a good idea, but probably for someone else, because I am not the kind of person to be on camera and I'm not charismatic and etc., etc. And also streaming was kind of an idea too, I think, before YouTube, of just like streaming the process of me doing like an illustration or a design or making something move in After Effects, but not doing like formally edited videos like this. So I had a lot of the equipment already. Justin helped me get my whole setup, which I can definitely put in the description below. I know I've been asked that a few times. It's nothing crazy. It's really like your basic Rode mic. Got like the arm and everything, which is really annoying sometimes, which is why I got this bad boy here. I've got an Elgato key light over there to kind of help illuminate my face, and then my window over there for fill light or something. I don't know. Justin knows lighting better than I do. He helped set that up too. He's my whole producer with this whole thing. And I'm also using his camera, which when I started YouTube, I was working off of a like Logitech webcam or something that shot in like HD. If you really want to go down memory lane and look at some really grungy, not very good quality videos, you can go look at early 2022 videos that I've made. So it's nice to see that I've upgraded since. But anywho, with like the whole genesis of this, it was really just about showing process of things and kind of like the thinking behind some of the things that I do, which it's kind of hard to tell. And this is this is where a lot of that imposter syndrome can come in. It never goes away. For anyone who ever asks any artist or freelancer how to get rid of imposter syndrome, you don't. You kind of like learn to like make friends with it in a way. Like you're kind of just frenemies for life, you know? There's some slump days that you might have of like feeling like you don't know what you're doing at all and like you don't belong in the industry, or you know, shouldn't be a freelancer, or you're not good at anything. And then there's days where you're reminded of like, oh, I actually know more than I think. I'm actually better than I think. I can do anything, etc., etc. I already lost my train of thought. See, this is the problem with rants. I don't have bullet points to go off of. But I think the main source of imposter syndrome for me with like doing YouTube at all is just the idea of, am I bringing anything new to the table? Am I bringing any bit of value to, you know, just people in general? And it's just hard. It was just so hard to tell, like, would this be helpful to someone? Would someone find this valuable? Is this interesting? Is this super boring? I think that's like something that I have a fear of. Like every time I make a video is like, is anyone even gonna like care about this? Or is this like a duh, like everyone knows this kind of thing? And everyone has like their own layers of this. But yeah, with making YouTube videos, especially when there's stuff that's more like in the educational realm, like tutorials and stuff like that, definitely a lot of imposter syndrome there. But with any of that, everyone has their own perspective, you know, and perspective is super important, especially nowadays. I don't even want to get into the whole AI side of things, but to have an opinion on things, to have a point of view, perspective, experience, trial and error, failures, all of those things to be funneled into the work that you make. And everyone's journey is different. That is always going to be valuable, in my opinion. And now more than ever, it's important to be creating things in any shape or form. I meant it when I said this was going to be a rant, because I am rambling. I'm not even getting to the core reason of why you're probably watching this video. So I'll get to that. I'm going to get a little more comfortable here. I'm spinning. Oh God. If you're an artist or freelancer or designer, motion designer, whatever your background is, and you're interested in doing a YouTube channel, A, congrats, because that's awesome and you should definitely do it. B, in terms of like where to start, again, it's hard for me to kind of like give you the whole shebang of like how to start, because I've only been doing this for like 2-ish years, and the growth is the growth, you know, like I'm not going ham on doing all of the things to get to like 100K or anything like that. I'm just kind of making and posting whenever I can. And as of recently, I've started to do a little bit of SEO. It's taken 2 years to finally get on the SEO train and figure out how important that is. But when you're starting out, I think it's important to kind of just make a list of goals in general. And I think the biggest thing to tackle is answering the question of why. You know, why do you want to do YouTube? There's a ton of different reasons to do it. For me, it's more of just like a getting to experiment with a different medium and showing my process of things, and it's just super fun. Like I kept saying, a lot of people will try to do it for like the monetization side and just kind of have like a source of passive income. It's definitely a marketing tool, no matter what you are, whether you're a freelancer or you're a business owner or you're part of a large company, whatever. It's definitely a marketing tool. I'm just kind of saying like, hey, I know my stuff. But thinking about the why you want to do it, because it is a lot of work, I will say, what is going to make YouTube worth your time to invest all of this work into? Because it really is work, and it's putting a lot of your time, energy, and effort, and most likely some money, resources, and just thinking, planning, all of that. What's going to be worth it to you. And then there's a ton of videos out there. I've definitely watched some before I started doing YouTube of just like things that you should do before starting a YouTube channel. And one of them is definitely figuring out like the kind of stuff that you want to make, you know, the niche, as a lot of people would say. For me, you know, it's art design, illustration, motion design, a little bit of freelancing. That's pretty much it. That's like my entire life. That's like the bread and butter of what I'm super passionate about. And then within that, there's, you know, some different layers, like sub layers to that too, of like, I also love gaming. I love nature. And so making things that are also kind of like intertwined with that as well. is a thing. But having kind of that core log line, if you will, of like, this is what this channel is about. This is why people go to your channel to look for these type of videos. It's really handy to know, you know, it's a good thing to just kind of have in the back of your mind. And you'll probably already have it before you start a channel. And a lot of times too, people in the same kind of like realm of videos that I make will also include like, you know, day in the life kind of things as well, vlog kind of things. I don't really do that, but that can also fit into the main log line of like what your channel is about. I've gotten a lot of compliments from like close colleagues and friends of like how frequent I've been, especially this year. This is probably my most like consistent year in terms of like posting videos and stuff and making things around it. But man, it's still tough even just to try to do one a week. And I definitely have missed the consistency, and I have like really good strands of being consistent with like trying to do one a week, and then I fall off for like a month or two because of like holidays, or we're traveling, or something pops up. And it's different too because, you know, me and Justin, we just moved to Boise this January. It didn't take until maybe like May for us to like actually feel settled and like officially moved in, and like we have our rhythm with things. And trying to find the rhythm with making videos was definitely tough. And I found that even as a freelancer where I have a more flexible schedule, it's still tough to try to like carve out time in the work week to do that. So I find myself leaning more toward recording on the weekends. And if I have a lot of time on my hands, I will try to record 2 or 3 videos if I have those things kind of planned, which I'll get into that in a little bit too. And then I'll just kind of spend like the next week or so chipping away at like editing those videos. And then I have like 2 or 3 videos kind of in the bank. And that kind of saves me like 3 weeks of work, you know? So recording is definitely the hardest part in my opinion for like the type of videos that like I make, where I do a lot of FaceTime and everything, where there's definitely the route of doing faceless videos and you're just more like screen sharing and stuff like that. It's a whole other kind of side of things, and it's definitely easier. But you know, again, it depends on like the kind of videos you want to make and the kind of channel you want to have. And then when it comes to actually making your videos, yeah, there's a ton of ways to go about it. I think for me, it took a minute to really figure out kind of my like rhythm and flow of like how I make videos confidently. It wasn't really until like later last year. So it took like within the year for me to like really feel confident about like knowing how I make my videos, you know? There's definitely a lot of trial and error at the beginning, and there's a lot of videos at the beginning that you're gonna really hate and be cringed out at hearing the sound of your own voice. But when it comes to planning, I have found, so I do everything in Notion for one thing. I kind of have like a whole dashboard, nothing crazy. It's more of like a spreadsheet kind of layout, or like a table of just like video ideas. I guess it's not really the final title, but like I know what it is. And then within that, I kind of have like a very simple template that I've made of like quick intro, what is this video about, and then like bullet points of like main chapters, I guess, like of like what the video is and what's going to be in it, talking points, all that kind of stuff. And at the beginning, I would write out like a whole entire script. Like as if I was just talking out loud, I would write that shit down. And I don't even think I tried to memorize because I have such a terrible memory. And I also want to sound natural when I talk, you know? But even my bullet points were just like way too much. Like they weren't really bullet points. And so that became a struggle over time, and learning that like I really needed to just chunkate it down to like having keywords for each of my chapters and what all underneath that I needed to cover or didn't want to forget, you know? So little things like that you want to make sure to remember. And it's always when you're not about to record, you know, that you think of all of these things. And that's why it's always good to just write everything down, you know, especially if you have a bad memory like me. And then after a lot of the main like chapter points There's like I don't do this often, but sometimes I'll do like a middle of video, like, hey, if you like this video, blah, 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 YouTubey things, which I never really love to do either. Again, I just think of like the hashtag content creator and like smash that like button, you know, kind of thing, which that's not the vibe that I bring to the party. I feel like, you know, and then, you know, if there's like a certain kind of outro I want to do, which over time you'll kind of learn like what your outro is and you don't really have to think about it. So I found myself over time writing less and less, unless it's like a super curated, thought through kind of video. I didn't write shit. I didn't even write a title in my table for this video. I'm here and I brought a microphone. It goes to show that like planning is a good thing. Sometimes you need it, or most of the time you need it. Sometimes you don't. But especially if you're doing stuff like GFX, like graphics and transitions and chapter things, like higher production value kind of things, you want to plan out a little bit like how you want to structure your video. Video structure is a good thing to have. Like a lot of this stuff just takes some time to like really get the hang of like your own flow with things, but write as much as you can and start to think about what kind of videos you want to make. You know, what does the structure of that feel like? What kind of stuff do you want to show on screen, whether it's your face along with time lapses and other images, references, B-roll, and like stock footage, all those kind of things. And also too, if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, the stuff that you watch all the time, you'll start to kind of pick up on things that you really like about those videos and consider if you want to kind of implement some of those little techniques and elements as well. What else can I tell you about starting YouTube? On the monetization side, so monetization, you know, making money, making that cheddar, that dough is always a great thing. You know, that's awesome, especially when it's passive and you don't really have to do a ton. Like obviously making videos is going to help you make money because of ads and, you know, all these other factors that come into the money that you make for your videos. But I know that there was a whole like eligibility program kind of thing that you had to kind of fulfill these different meters of qualifications. So, and I think it's changed since I became qualified to be monetized on YouTube, but I was accepted, I think like December last year. So December 2023. So this year is really like the only year that I've made any money from YouTube. And I think I've made around like $400-$500 total. So like divvy that up per month however you see fit. It's kind of like whatever, but it's nice, you know. It's 500 more bucks that I didn't have before. Thank you YouTube and Google. But definitely consider what those qualifications are and what that lift is going to look like for you, how ham you want to go to try and check those boxes, or if it's something super passive like kind of what I did where like it kind of happens when it happens. You know, you can go that route too. I think when I had to kind of check all those boxes, it was more strict, I think, in terms of like the amount of like watch hours I had to have from viewers. I forget what it was exactly, but I feel like that was the one that like took the longest to get to. And then I think you have to upload a video like once every 3 months or something, just to make sure that you're kind of showing YouTube, hey, I'm uploading videos, like trying to be consistent, even if it's like once a quarter, you know? So I forget what the other factors are. I know that there's one that's like either watch hours from your videos or shorts. I don't know if it's like a million views or something on shorts. I don't know, man. I think it's changed since though. I don't know what those numbers are. Again, something to consider. And then there's a whole process with AdSense, with Google AdSense that you have to go through in order to get paid. And funny enough, for me, it took literally like, I feel like it took for fucking ever. It took maybe 4-ish months for me to officially get the okay on it because, and this is just a me thing. This should not be a problem for anyone else. This is just a stupid me problem. You know, me and Justin got married in August, and once we moved to Boise in January this year, I was going through the whole process of changing my last name. Oh my God, talk about a headache. You know, with tax forms and having the proof of identity. So like having a new driver's license, possibly a passport, all of those things need to like match, and I was getting them like piece by piece. So it took for fucking ever to be able to like prove like what my new name was in order to get my cheddar, you know what I mean? So that's definitely a me problem. I don't think other people will have that unless you're getting married in the midst of being monetized and changing your name. If that's the case, good luck, God bless. But yeah, overall, it's not that difficult. It just takes some time, and it's really up to you how ham you want to go to try to like get those boxes checked. But just know that that is a kind of gateway barrier to getting monetized. Oh, and on the side of monetization and just money, cheddar, making that bread, sponsorships are a thing, and that is definitely something that has come across my lap just this year, honestly, and collaborations too. So last year I got to collaborate with School of Motion for like 2 different videos, and that was super fun. They paid me, you know, to essentially record all the content, make the project, whatever, project files, all that stuff, and then their team edited everything. But getting to collaborate with them, they kind of just gave me free reign on, you know, the thing, like the video itself. And so I thought that was super cool. So yeah, you know, once you kind of get your name more out there and showing what you're capable of, collaborations are always a good thing, and it kind of helps both sides. You know, I've definitely gotten some more viewership and subscribers and social media related followers and stuff from that specifically. And then yeah, sponsorships. I definitely got a good number of sponsorship kind of offers in my email inbox this year. I haven't really taken up a lot of them, to be honest. Some of them I've just kind of like, they've been in the back of my mind and I need to like reacquaint with doing that. But again, I think my mind is just so overly casual about this and just YouTube in general, at least like right now, that it's just kind of like, cool, sounds cool. But a big one that I did this year was with Rive, and I did a 3-part video series with them where they were looking for some animators, designers, because Rive is meant for all of those kind of people, designers, animators, illustrators, devs, all that kind of stuff. They were trying to get a bunch of different perspectives and showing people how easy it can be to use it. I essentially kind of pitched a like character creator, like avatar creator project to them, and I had to sit down for like a month or so and like learn Rive and just from top to bottom made a whole project and walked myself and viewers through how I made it. And man, it was definitely a struggle bus for me, just because I've never done anything like that before. Like I literally tried to learn a new program in like 2 months and then tell people how to do it. Like that is, you want to talk about imposter syndrome problems, like that was probably the highlighted one of the year for sure. But we made it at the end of it all, and some people have said that they found it helpful, so that is like the biggest one in my book. But that is kind of an avenue that happens sometimes with sponsorships. I'm not a pro at how to deal with sponsorships or anything like that. I just know that like I've gotten a good number of like different kinds in my email throughout this year, where some of them want to have more of like a partnership where it's like a recurring kind of thing, and there's like a monetary benefit of like based on commission or whatever, like if someone uses your affiliate link, stuff like that. So I think that's probably the main reason why I haven't like done a ton of the sponsorship related stuff that I've been offered this year. But all that to say, you know, the more you do YouTube, the more you kind of like show up, the quality of your videos, you know, and then obviously engagement and viewership and all that stuff will follow that over time, along with being consistent, even if that's once a week, twice a month. Companies will kind of look at you and be like, they could be a good advocate for showing off our product or whatever. And a lot of people think that, you know, you need to have like 100+K, you know, in order to get like sponsorship stuff. I was maybe at like 10K, if not a little lower than that, before getting emails about that stuff. So it really is, I think it does come back to like quality over quantity of like your videos too, and showing that like you can present yourself, and like if you're doing more art related things, presenting your process and hopefully being charismatic, because I'm definitely not. They can come a lot earlier than you might expect. If that's something that you're aiming for, you know, kind of keep that in your mind as well. And what more else can I tell you about YouTube? In terms of expanding outside of YouTube, like not just making the video and like posting it on YouTube, but what I do with it before and after the fact, I think has helped a lot with the benefits that I've gotten from doing YouTube for the last 2 years. So just at a kind of quick overview, since I started doing YouTube, I think my like LinkedIn presence and stuff has like skyrocketed for one thing. And I think when thinking about LinkedIn, and listen, okay, LinkedIn is definitely a love-hate kind of relationship where like, you know, you can't live with them, you can't live without them kind of thing. It's definitely helpful in so many ways. I've been using LinkedIn since I was in art school. So like circa 2015, 2016. Since starting doing YouTube, it just kind of, it brought my name out there more frequently, especially when I would have my more consistent kind of threads of videos like week by week, you know, so I'm like, hey, like I'm making this poster or I'm making a motion design thing, you know, follow me on YouTube or whatever. And I think too, just like any other quote unquote famous motion design YouTube channel or singular people that are freelancers or business owners that make really good videos that help, you know, beginners and just other artists enhance their craft, you know, they're going to want to see, you know, what this person has to offer. And I always hope that that's the case with me. But my mentality always is like, I'm just going to throw it out there and that's it. Like I pretty much forget about it, to be honest, which I think in the beginning especially is a really good mentality to have because social media is, listen, social media has its benefits and has a lot of not great things, especially when thinking about just what it does, you know, to people mentally sometimes. But initially, I would just kind of throw it out there, forget about it. And over the course of especially that first year, just started seeing more subscribers, which was awesome, and incrementally more views per video. And I think it was maybe within the first month of doing YouTube that I got like my first 1,000 subscribers, which blew my mind. So it wasn't much long after starting YouTube that I did like a celebratory live stream or something. And then I did one at 10K, and I'll definitely do one at 15K. And then I also post kind of like an Instagram story kind of thing on Instagram. And I tried like doing that same thing on Twitter with just kind of posting like a, hey, like I got a new video out, check it out kind of thing. But man, I've never fully gotten on the Twitter train, and I don't call it X, I call it Twitter because I think X is a stupid name. But yeah, Instagram and LinkedIn have been kind of the main platforms that I've posted about like new video coming out kind of things. And then I've actually been using the within like YouTube like posts within YouTube, which I think is really cool. Like I've been getting more views on those as well. So I'll try to remember to like do that too. But it's definitely more of like a back of mind, if it happens kind of thing. LinkedIn being kind of the platform for like all of your professional colleagues and friends and industry related news, and check out my work, check out my portfolio kind of stuff. YouTube videos, especially the ones that I make in the niche that I'm in, fit perfectly with that. So yeah, I think LinkedIn has helped a lot, honestly, with my YouTube career, quote unquote. It gained me a lot of like followers, I've noticed on LinkedIn too, which I've never cared about that, but it's interesting to see as like a metric, you know. And then two, getting a shit ton more views on my portfolio website and everything, in my online store that I've had for forever now. Since doing YouTube, it has kind of been like the like catalyst to then spreading my name and like all of my information and social handles, my website, LinkedIn and all that other stuff to everyone, you know. It's been a really nice and surprising gateway, I feel like. I will say though, a lot of people might think that also, like since doing YouTube, that also leads to more clients and stuff. I personally haven't really found that as the case. It has been kind of like a nice surprise, you know, because my portfolio is kind of that first barrier of entry to kind of getting to know me and my work and like my style and everything, like what I'm capable of doing, but then also seeing like, oh, hey, and I also do YouTube stuff. YouTube has been like the easiest way for them to like get a vibe check from me, like as a person, you know? That is kind of like helpful too. So like even before setting up a meeting or anything, they kind of know who they're about to meet or whatever. I don't know if that's the case for any other clients. I do know one specifically called out that they like checked out a YouTube video of mine and they're like, yeah, I could immediately tell that you were a cool person. So yeah, YouTube is definitely a great platform in, video making as a medium to kind of like megaphone blast all of the other things that you might do, and just like your social media and your portfolio, if you have a store, all of those kind of things. But I cannot concretely attest to it helping me get clients by any means. Another super fulfilling thing about YouTube is the amount of like emails and LinkedIn like messages and like friend requests I've gotten, and like Instagram, social media and stuff, but like direct call outs from people of like how much a certain video helped them. It's funny, there were a few where like a certain video helped them with like a specific project that they had, or like a client project, which I think is super cool. And so it's super heartwarming to hear that like there is stuff that I do that like helps people in some way, shape, or form. Because I don't always know what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But I can only hope that it helps. And I say that a lot in my videos too, where it's like, I hope this video helped you, or something. I don't even know what my tagline is. But that is, a reminder of like the why of doing YouTube, and hope that just helps you keep going, and inspires you to make more things that can further fuel that why. Another thing too that is something that I very, very recently started looking into more, that I, would highly recommend if you are one to see growth a little more immediately and not as casually as me, looking into SEO and how you do like descriptions, your titles, tags, thumbnail. All of those things really do matter when it comes to having like a quote unquote successful video. And I recently got a Google extension called vidIQ that has honestly been like immensely helpful. I'm on the like free version right now. I haven't like dove in too deep into it, but there's a paid version where it unlocks so many other features. Like it can literally help you write titles and descriptions and tags. It'll generate video ideas for you based off of like the videos that you have done in the past. And I think the most helpful thing that I've seen so far with my stuff is seeing like a score attached to like how good my video title is, if it's like too long or there's not any like strong keywords in there, how searchable some of those words are, and if it's even really being searched at all. But yeah, there's a ton of features that I haven't even like really looked into yet, but just from like an SEO and like understanding like, oh, this is more successful than this and this is why, and having more concrete variables to kind of track against has been very, very helpful. Again, just fueling that into how I plan future videos. I don't really know what else to talk about if I'm being honest. All of this is a long-winded explanation of things that I've told, again, my friends and colleagues that have asked about starting YouTube and like what that's like and everything. You just gotta have a lot of patience. Don't give up too quickly, because it is definitely something very easily to give up on. And if you really find joy in like making videos for whatever reason, you just got to do it, try to find the time, try to dedicate whatever amount of time you're able to, when that is. And over time, work on improving like 1% or like one small factor of your video each time. You make a video, you're not super proud of it, it's kind of poo-poo, whatever. The next one, try to focus on making the title a little bit better. And then after that video, focus on making the thumbnail a little bit better. And over time, all of those things will accumulate and you'll get better at making videos. Kind of is what it is, but there's a lot of joy in the process, a lot of things to be learned, and as you do it, you'll just naturally start thinking of fun video ideas and things that you can kind of give to the world and everything. And yeah, it's just a good time here on YouTube. So as always, I hope this was helpful. This is definitely the most like brain dump kind of video I've ever done, but I really do hope any of this was helpful or encouraging, or just trying to kind of reality check, level set with you of, hey, it's not super easy, but XYZ, you can replay all the reasons why. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Feel free to email me if you'd like. Follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want. I'm around. I'm here. Not really on Twitter though, sorry. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.